Hello, we're alive! Hi! All right. Okay. Brother. The retardation on the internet just continues. Spreading fervor and fervor and fervor. It's so bad. So you remember my Superman shit from yesterday or the day before yesterday, right? There was something going on there, correct? Right? Yeah, correct? Yeah. I hope everyone remembers. So shit is happening there. I mean, of course it is, right? Couldn't be any other way. Just another day of the week that ends with Y, of course. So, yeah, I got 2 more answers on that 23 hours ago and 17 hours ago, which again is like, brother, the answer is right there. You just gotta read it. All right. So. All right. Okay. Let's get into it. Why don't we? Why don't we? So, you remember very well the posts I made here. And if we look at my post here, adoption, Clark Kent is usually portrayed as being found by the Kents and subsequently adopted by them, making him their legal child and therefore a U.S. citizen. Legal recognition. Legal is in the name. As a minor found in the United States, Clark would be considered a citizen under the Nationality Act of 1940, unless proven to be from another country, which is impossible because he's from a different planet altogether that got blown up. So for Clark Kent, this is impossible, right? However, it is possible for Superman because he openly states it when he says he is Kryptonian. It is canon that he rode on a wormhole to Earth so he can watch the destruction of Krypton, because that's when the light catches up. 23 years later. That is lore, right? That is actual lore. Clark Kent identity. While Superman is a separate persona, Clark Kent is the name he uses for everyday life, requiring citizenship for things like getting a job, attending school, and having legal documentation. De facto personhood. In his daily life interaction with humans, Superman is given the status of a person and is therefore subject to the laws and yeah. Now, people, this cool individual is, he has no documentation. No documents. Even a starving African child has documents and evidence when they were born in a country. It's a part of their adoption process. His family forged everything. That's a felony and illegal. There are plenty of children, no matter where, that don't have any documentation whatsoever. Are they just illegally on Earth? No, I don't think so. Right? No, that's not how it works. They will get the documents their parents are from, or depending on the laws of the country, they will get the country's documentation that doesn't need to be forged, by the way. Well, technically, it's still forged by the government, since no clear information about the child are open. Like, right? If there's like nothing on the child, you can just, you make an approximation of which year they were born in, and yeah, That's how it usually works with children that don't have any at all documentation. So this take absolutely stupid. Hold on. This take absolutely stupid. So you lack comic book knowledge and getting your information from a shitty AI. How can the Kents adopt a child that's not legally a citizen already? Again, read the second section of the... It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. That's my update to that. I'm not gonna interact with these people anymore at all. I learned my lesson. These people are non-educational. They will not, you know. They won't care. They will not care, right? I have been getting a whole lot of follows lately, though. Like, I went from 36 all the way up to 50 today. Woo. On Twitter, of course. 52 already. Holy shit. Yeah, I got 2 more. So it almost doubled. Soon I will have more followers than following. Haha. Yeah. Yeah, that is a big win in my book. That is an enormous win in my book. Just before we get... Imagine getting deported to another planet reminds me of the old radio shows where they say, it's currently 1987 and we've got colonized Mars! Indeed. Yeah, it's just a little bit weird, right? Just a little bit. And with that, I just want to remind everyone,
believe this was a gun until he said
this has been blowing up somehow. You know, when I gone to bed, it already flatlined, right? The rise of clicks or views already like flatlined. It died. And when I woke up, it rose to 200 and died again. So it made like this, and all of a sudden it freaking exploded so much that it has over 1,000. This is not updated yet, but it has over 1,000 views. So holy shit. I hate YouTube and how it functions, but it's good. It's fine. Everything's fine. So thank you for whoever told me yesterday to make a clip of that. That is actually nice. So thank you. We are reacting again today. 2 videos because holy shit. One was recommended and the other one I saw and want to react to it. I will probably not be reacting to that YouTuber for some time afterwards, because I react to like 3-4 videos of them in a row, and I don't think that's like really healthy for either of us. So I'll stop right there, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. Being a React streamer and enjoying React content is hard. I have to click off the stream if they are watching a video I plan to react myself. Yes, this is a joke. No, I get it. I get it, Kitsunero. I get it. Ah, fuck no. But yeah. Let's get down to it after I find the other one. This is not correct. There it is. Actually, 5 videos. No, 4. It's 4. It's 4 that I reacted to. But I uploaded one. Is this the one? I've seen this one, seen this one. This one's new. Hold on, what? No, everything's fine. Fuck the bot. All right. So, copy. I'll link the video right now. On my free platforms. And we'll watch it right now. Bam. This is, they responded in the worst way possible, and this is more Pegasus.
Welcome back to a series so iconic, even
welcome for the first time, actually. For me, anyway.
Pikachu subscribed. In today's video, Anissa, aka iDubbbz' husband, has responded to Creator Clash 3.
I keep forgetting they call her iDubbbz' husband. I keep forgetting. It's so good. There we go.
Officially being cancelled. She's also losing her mind on Twitter, making a bajillion tweets.
Oh,
Ethan
damn.
has released several responses. Hassan orbiters like Casey Tron have also responded with
Wait, this is the stoner, right?
very intellectual statements, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
Halliwig continues to get backlash for finally defending Ethan. Streamer Tectone is now beefing with Destiny. Asmongold has
But I didn't notice the Destiny stuff. What the hell?
responded, subscribe to be part of internet.
Holy shit, it's like a card house just falling. just falling in on itself. Goddamn. Oh my god, everything is happening at the same time. Can't we just have one at a time? Just one drama at a time, please?
Now, quick recap, if you missed the previous episode, iDubbbz and Anissa hosted a boxing event called Creator Clash 3. It was supposed to be for charity, but they were secretly taking 34%. Now, iDubbbz, along with Hassan's Goon Squad, made a content cop on Ethan. After that, the entire internet turned on them. They lost everything. The event got canceled.
No, wait, why am I?
Came out
I know that.
exposing them. And now, after all of that, Anissa has responded. Anissa offers a statement after Nathan, aka Dad, dropped a video calling her and Creator Clash 3 out. Basically, Nathan was talking about how he was screwed over financially, and also they talked a lot of
I
shit
saw
about
this
him
video. It's
behind his
actually
back.
terrible.
She says, I just want to make it clear that we haven't had any contact or control since we publicly stepped down. Even
That doesn't absolve you of ruining the whole event before stepping down. What? It's like shitting on the floor and then saying, "Oh, I'm not responsible for this piece of shit on the floor. I walked away after I laid it, like after I shit on the floor. It's not my responsibility anymore." What? No. What? It's a bit of a stupid analogy, but you know what I
were
mean.
the faces of the event, many people were behind the scenes making decisions together. Classic shifting blame immediately. The event wasn't doing well way before the content cop. A combo of many things contributed to that reality, including lack of promotion, influencer boxing being less popular, the economy, etc. I think what it boils down to is poor communication from everyone. No, it does not boil down to poor communication. It boils down to you and
making a
iDubbbz deciding to
content
backstab your good
noob.
friend Ethan. and simultaneously side with the most radical, extremist, terrorist-supporting freaks on the planet.
Gun-threatening, viewership gun-threatening psychopath.
The guy did a love heart to literally tweeted the other day that he wants to kill Ethan. That is the kind of people you support. They literally brag about bombing ships. Even after we left, which is unfortunate. At the end of the day, I care about people getting paid for the money they were out for training and charity getting their money, and both of those things were done. I mean, you say you care about charity getting paid, yet you were taking money behind the scenes without telling anybody. And the new owners of Creator Clash, after you dropped out, had to actually expose that fact. Not to mention, the only reason you abandoned the event is because you probably didn't want legal liability. You didn't want to get sued for the absolute trash event it was and not fulfilling your promises. I really love this event. I loved what it stood for, and I wanted to believe we could push through because it wasn't.
By the way, we actually watched all that shit. We know that it's not even an actual charity event because the charity itself is a third-party thing where if you go to the event, you can donate after purchasing tickets to the charity. That's how it worked in the second one. The first one, I'm not sure, but the second one was a major scam, basically.
None of it was malicious. Okay, that is a straight up lie. Obviously, they really don't like Ethan and wanted to ruin his life. But also, suppose, hypothetically, this wasn't malicious. That would make you two the stupidest people on planet Earth. Like, literally the dumbest people I've ever encountered in my life. Also, I just love how they say it's like, oh yeah, it has nothing to do with us anymore because, you know, we gave it over. After completely destroying it yourselves. This is like somebody setting a house on fire, quickly selling it to somebody in the next 1 minute and being like, well,
not my problem anymore.
You burned it down. I guess it's your fault because I.
Not my house, not my problem, I say.
It's on it, actually. Ridiculous, man. She's blaming the economy for one of the reasons why Creator Clash failed. Yes, it's just because of the economy, guys. It's the political and economic state of the world right now, guys. If you love the event and what it stood for, you would have put in more effort when it came to promoting the damn thing. Shockingly, the only promotion that was done is people shitting on the event. Like, I have promoted the event more than they have. It's crazy. They are allergic to accountability, actually. Doesn't address anything Dad said about their mismanagement, just pushes blame on everybody else, and also did not address any of the personal stuff. Right, so Ethan responded, paying Lena the 15k you owe her would go a long way. I mean, of course they aren't gonna pay the fighters. They're absolutely greedy ass mother flippers who only care about securing a profit themselves. Keep in mind they are supposed to be multi-millionaires and couldn't be bothered to even pay their fighters properly. I feel like any creator that size would be happy to take a hit if money was actually going to charity and kids with cancer would actually get some support. But no, I need to make sure I get my cut before charity gets its cut. Feminist Anissa should be on board with women getting their pay, right? Only if she can give 34%, of course.
God damn. Some of those comments are vicious. In a good way. But still, damn.
Then she went on an absolute barrage of tweets. I'm once again asking what my ultimate sin.
I heard that I'm once again asking and my head auto-filled. I am once again asking for your financial support.
Was aside from being married to the man who made the content cop on the king. Okay, who is the king? You mean Ethan? Ethan doesn't know us as well as he claims, especially not me. He was literally best friends with iDubbbz and went to your house multiple times. He's as knowledgeable about our private life as the average viewer. Okay, that's just a lie. Then she continues, I've never mentioned CPS. I didn't appear in the content cop. I've only ever replied to Ethan privately with kindness, despite him spam texting us deranged nonsense. His inference that I have any control over Ian's choices is from watching SlopTubers.
Oh my god.
The classic. Blame it on the SlopTubers. Anissa's definitely been watching a lot.
What are
SlopTubers?
I mean, this one is one, but
discredit anything anybody's saying, any
I guess it's a slop
argument
streamer.
ever, just blame it on SlopTubers. How many times do you people need to realize that this strategy
Am
just
I a
does not
slop
work?
streamer? Maybe, yeah.
Plenty of people have tried it before, they have all failed. Turns out people actually have the capacity to think and make arguments for themselves and realize we're literally just speaking the truth here. Anissa, this is such a lie. You joked about CPS on your podcast and laughed about the joke. I get you want to be child free and that's fine, but imagine how traumatizing that is for the average adult who has a family of their own. Also, she brags about never mentioning CPS.
Yeah, that's something to brag about, right?
That was like the bad part of the content cop. The fact that iDubbbz made it seem like Ethan had this completely crazy, unhinged meltdown going after his friends, and he left out the entire context that the reason he was so mad was that these people literally went after his kids. And can you stop playing innocent here? Everybody knows you literally control the behind the scenes for these videos. You've admitted to it in the past. Even now, here you are, the one.
If you're, then you're our tuber streamer. Yeah, let's go. I'm your tube streamer.
Responding to everything, responding to all the drama. iDubbbz is nowhere to be seen.
I swear to God, this is just a following page. People, it's not my fault. Not my fault. Yeah, what I wanted to do is hold on, how do I make posts here again? I'm a bit old, you see. I am not the best guy for this anymore. There it is. There's the big button with the post on it. I am a bit on the older side, so please excuse me, my pure sadlings. I am unofficially known as Slop Tube Streamer. Special thanks to the Azure Herd 16. I'm posting that. How do I pin shit? Pin to your profile. Yes. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is the second time I post something of you guys.
Shut his mouth, and Anissa's here yapping on. Somebody responds, "You've been nothing but a perfect sweet angel." I hope this is ironic, and she says, "Amen." If you took 34% of the day to think about it, I'm sure you'd find the end.
Damn! I forgot we're at the roast part of the comment section. God.
We got a new meme, fellas.
Ooh.
And look at these NPCs.
Nice shout out. I appreciate it. Of course. You gotta reference the people you take all the fame away from, so that you can say, hey, at least I gave you credit.
Agree with him. That's really all it is.
Sorry.
That's right. Oh my god. He can't possibly defend attacking you relentlessly and barely even mentioning Ian at this point. He knows it's easier to get people on board to attack women, and his career is built off hate campaigns.
It's easier to get people on board to attack women, and his career is built on hate campaigns. What?
to get people
What the
on board
hell?
to attack women, and his career is built off hate campaigns. Dude, the amount of delusional people on Twitter is actually astronomical.
This take. I can feel this take. The amount of people on Twitter is of the delusional people on Twitter is astronomical. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Using the Macytron tactic of, well, they're actually all misogynists, they're all incels, and if a woman actually disagrees with you, like maybe Ela, you know, Ethan's wife, actually she's just a pick-me.
How the fuck is a married woman a pick-me? Like, there is married pick-me's out there, but they treat their husband like shit. Ela doesn't seem that kind of woman. Honestly, since she is defending her husband. They are married, right? Yeah, they're married. They're married, right? Yeah. So, how the fuck is she a pick-me for defending her husband? If anything, she's a very honorable wife. What?
She's under the misogynistic patriarchal structure. She just doesn't understand. She can't think.
She has broken the law of feminists section 8.5 13 paragraph B 12A number 2.
Under the misogynistic patriarchal structure. She just doesn't understand. She can't think for herself.
Oh my god.
Absolutely pathetic.
Do I make this joke? She is a Islamic woman, therefore she doesn't know anything except to listen to her husband. No, this is a joke.
Structure. She just doesn't understand. She can't think for herself. Absolutely.
I made it.
So
I made the
this,
joke.
Anissa starts getting real petty, and she pins this tweet to her profile. She posts this emoji and puts a comment from H2H3. People see an hour-long podcast and think they completely understand you and your relationship. Even for the internet, people have been particularly nasty to you. It can be so painful to be hated and misunderstood by so many people that have never met you. But I don't think it has anything to do with you. People hated you from the beginning because of what you represented as an extension of Ian. Him maturing and changing, they feel betrayed by him, and you are their scapegoat. It sucks that people won't just move on and accept their change, especially after years. Only thing that matters is how you guys feel about each other.
Okay, no, everything's fine.
Remembering as much as possible that everything you read online is just noise, is not real. If a few unwell people obsess over you. Okay, first off,
if you're asking what I just did, I almost swallowed wrong and almost like made my throat really itchy by not swallowing the correct way. My gamer subs AFK flavor by Silvervale.
That everything you read online is just noise, is not real. If a few unwell people obsess over you. Okay, first off, Ethan missed the mark here, and Ethan has missed the mark a lot in the past. Let's not forget, Ethan willingly partnered with Hassan on his podcast when we were all already aware he has been completely nuts for years, okay? And I suspect it was political brain rot. When you dive headfirst into politics, your common sense side of the brain shuts off. But it's okay. I forgive Ethan now, because now he's coming to his senses slowly but surely. He's starting to realize the people he associated with, the people who he was promoting like Hassan,
will gladly throw him under the bus the second he says anything that, like, they don't like. Like, look at these idiots. Honestly, what the fuck? My superpower kicked in again. Look at his face.
and their orbiters are
oh my, bro, she can't even hold up the L. She can't even hold up the L properly. Wait, no, wait. I'm stupid. She just
are absolute insane crazies.
Okay, no, she just opened and closed it again for whatever reason.
Notice the same thing about Anissa and iDubbbz, and despite me,
wait,
and he's probably started to.
Oh no, it was a YouTube video. I forgot.
Anissa and iDubbbz, and despite me not actually agreeing with him.
Sorry.
Same thing about Anissa and.
The food stuff. Let's
not actually agreeing with
let's
him
not
on a
get
lot of
banned
things,
here.
I
Let's
can
not
still
get
defend
banned
you
here.
because you guys were way more crazy and he didn't deserve to be harassed.
Also, one of them or multiple, I am not sure anymore, but someone 100% definitely did. They called his what does he have? Tourette's? They called his small outbursts of Tourette's a drug addiction. Very, very ableist of you, right? Tourette's is a disability to some extent. Of course, it doesn't like hinder your capabilities of walking or, you know, other stuff that are like extremely important, but Tourette's is still pretty tough, right? So that's disgusting as well.
Human skulls sent to his house or CPS.
Fucking human skulls! I forgot about that. Oh, oh shit! Having sent human skulls to your home when you have children? It's bad! Don't get me wrong if you just live with your partner, but with children, that's even worse because your fear for the children is, I'm guessing, bigger than the fear for your own life, right? The fear for your children's life is so much bigger. So, wow.
Has called on his kids, and I feel like all the
and the
CPS,
despite holy
the
shit.
entire internet being against you guys, he was still trying to support you guys. Lamau, thanks Anissa for showing off how good of a friend Ethan was to you guys. All this does.
It's so good. Good people do good things, and the good things don't bite them in the back. It's bad people that will backstab them. This is the perfect example.
Make her and Ian look like garbage for backstabbing such a supportive friend. Right, so Anissa continues by posting this. Somebody posted a comment, Anissa, I'm not controlling. Anissa speaks the entire time, only lets Ida speak when prompted to self-flagellate for her own pleasure. You should have listened to your mother and
There's no fuck. That's so good.
got the F away from her. You're in a toxic abusive relationship. Get the F out of there. Save yourself. You can do a lot better. Divorcing her is worth a hit. It's better to be free and in a healthy relationship with someone else than being rich and with someone who's abusing you for her own pleasure. So Anissa responded, I just want people to see it's been 7 years. I'm exhausted. I'm alone. Not built for this. I can't post on social media. This used to be my job. It never gets better. And this was liked by H3H3. People responded, this was back when he thought your friendship meant something. You and Ian need to take the L and get a job somewhere, lay low for a while. Yeah, he had your back long before you stabbed his. Is that supposed to be a flex? Now listen, again, I think it was lame that Ethan was supporting them even back then. Even back then, they were equally crazy. People are just starting to see it now, but obviously...
I have no idea about this. I only knew iDubbbz from like YouTube poop compilations, kind of, you know, the like parodies of "Are you fucking gay?" and stuff, you know, the "Welcome to Africa" parody, for example, stuff like that, right? That's the only thing I knew iDubbbz from, and I didn't even know it was iDubbbz.
He wanted to stick by you guys because you were, you had a long history of being good friends. So Ethan responded in a bunch of stories. Ethan continues, compelling stuff. Can you post proof you being harassed by Ethan? Your reply is proof.
I hate this.
So Ethan says, all you're showing is how much I cared and wanted to defend and see the best in my friends. The prevailing narrative at the time was that you guys were terrible people, not to be trusted, but I wasn't going to turn on my friends, even if it meant getting shit for standing by you. By the way, we were completely correct. Clap it up for us. Obviously, a lot has changed since then, and I've learned a lot about you, things that I was purposely avoiding because I wanted to see the best in you. And when I was down and out and you had the opportunity to stand by me, you punched me in the gut as hard as you could. You chose short-term gain over a decade-long friendship.
Every time I hear of a friendship that has been going on for like years and years, like a decade, that's a long time. Right. It's just like, my mind can't do anything except like make like made up scenarios in my head, like what if that happens to you, what if that, but deep down I know that won't happen, at least with those two, right? My two best friends that I keep glazing their dicks off. No, but seriously, and that just makes me glad to know that I do have such friends, right? Because every time I see this type of shit, I'm just constantly reminded of there is this kind of people around. There is these kinds of monsters in human disguises around that will use you in any way they can, or try to at the very least. So I am glad I found real friends. It's like it's like Stitch in the animated movie. He's like, this is my family. It's broken and sometimes not good, but they're still my family. Something like that, right? Really, really true statement, right? It's a little broken, but it's good. It's my family. So yeah, I think I hit the lottery there. I did.
Dropped the content cop when I was live. You excused the CPS call. You laughed about the skulls. You accused me of hallucinating anti-Semitism. You crossed every single line there was.
They created new lines to cross. That's how far it went.
Absolute cinema! Guys, not even TV is this good. Wow. What a amazing response by Ethan here. Holy shit, can you believe this stuff is free? Can you believe this video is free, guys? Subscribe, hit the like button. Oh my god, leave a comment. Holy shit. Ultimately, no matter how good of a friend I was, you still effed me over the first chance you got. You think this makes me look like a hypocrite, but it just makes you look like the giant piece of shit, which you are. So then Anissa responds, hi Ethan, the whole point is that you are accusing me of things that my husband and or other people have done, which contradicts everything you wrote in this comment. Hope that helps. Well, the thing—
I hate that fucking hope that helps. Tectone has been using it a lot in his videos. I get it. It's a joke about previous Paimon and shit. I get it. But holy shit. Does it grind my fucking nerves?
Thing is, you literally support your husband. In fact, respond on behalf of him. Treat him like Reek from Game of Thrones. Literally support all Hassan and his orbiters. You know, retweet their tweets. Provide support in every single way, and then pretend you have nothing to do with anything. Ace responds, is your defense really I had nothing to do with it? Okay, sure, let's examine that. Number 1, you have been involved in every content cop. Number 2, you were at Hassan's house during the filming of the sketch, flipping off the camera. Number 3, Ian literally cites you in the video. Anissa's half Lebanese and half Irish, so she understands Israeli propaganda and oppression. Ooh, that's an instant caught emoji right there, caught emoji. You've been making snide remarks during this entire debacle that is inbred. Oh, don't forget about the time where she tweeted drugs at Ethan, even though she knew that Ethan has Tourette's.
That's the thing I was talking about before.
And he has all those tics, and then she wanted to convince her audience that Ethan is on drugs.
Just like MumiPlaynGames, he's a little brain damaged, can't see some stuff in games, almost swallows gamer subs wrong, but he means well. Yeah. I'm a bit more broken than your usual creator, but I'm still good.
Totally disingenuous. You scolded Dad for leaving me a nice comment. You argued with Harley behind the scenes about Zionism. So did Ian, where he admits to not even knowing what that means.
By the way, this take about you scolded Dad for leaving me a nice comment. That shit is so petty. Because you cannot reach Ethan Klein in any good way. That's H3 by the way. You can't reach him in any good way. And this was when they were still talking about Creator Clash and shit. And he, you know, he just wanted to clear some stuff up because Ian, iDubbbz, was actually told Dad that he was gonna make the content nuke, and he was like, oh no, that's not good, please don't do that and shit. But he didn't want to lose his spot in the creator clash, so he just when or after or before, I don't remember, it dropped, like when they had the beef extremely going on, he gave him a $20 tip on stream and a nice comment. I don't remember what the comment was, but Ian's husband then flipped out at him. By the way, not controlling at all.
You were caught in Millhouse,
right?
Ian. You were caught in Denim's chat. Your private Twitter account got leaked of you talking shit. Ian knows at least to shut the F up, but you're the only fool who continuously engages with me, so obviously I'm talking to you, not Ian. Yup, honestly, at this point, Anissa has done way more damage than Ian ever could. The only thing that this point proves is, again, how willing you are to throw Ian under the bus. I had nothing to do with it. Go after Ian, not me. Give me a break. I mean, I completely agree with this response. There's actually like 10, 20 more things where you can criticize Anissa for. The
whatever.
Like
I'm not
10,
gonna make
20
this.
more things where you can criticize Anissa for. The whole iDubbbz boxing coach situation where Anissa was exposed for doing so much incredibly weird shit. The most manipulative.
I don't know about that one actually.
You will ever see. So yeah, you can't complain when you dish out the heat and then you can't take it. Ethan says, "Thanks for finally unpinning Kate's video. You callous, self-obsessed, narcissistic piece of shit." Basically, before this, the video that was pinned was a boxing training video with Anissa, and obviously the trainer Mike and his wife absolutely do not like Anissa, and they wanted that video deleted, but Anissa would refuse to. I'm so excited for her live stream crash outs. Yeah, apparently she's gonna start live streaming again. That's a horrible idea.
No.
So responded, Anissa defends her husband challenge difficulty impossible. Ian's a very smart and capable person who made a 7 million viewed video he's proud of. I think he'll be okay.
That is your defense against your husband? For your husband? Damn. Almost forgot! Mumi sometimes can't tell the difference between bots and first. Oh, fuck you! Iron! Welcome to the Kick Chats.
Made a 7 million viewed video he's proud of. I think he'll be okay. Yes, right off the 7 million views, even though we know your latest video is on 400k now, and your next video is not gonna do well either. In fact, his career is completely over at this point. This literal sloptuber is more popular than him. Absolutely tragic. Ethan's like Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards, one man fighting for his family's honor and the greater good of the world. To be fair, he's got a lot of aid here, and I think things might have been a little bit worse without some of the supporters.
More Pegasus doing some of the heavy lifting.
So Anissa responded again, what a pathetic list. This is his justification for eternal harassment. Privately discussing Zion.
I'm sorry, but isn't it the other way around? He was to the bitter end before you backstabbed him like 40 times. A good friend to you guys, right? And you're saying he's harassing you?
Zionism and showing up in my friend's Twitch chat. Yeah, your friend
That's weird.
Denims, who was literally days before the CPS call talking about Ethan's kids eating dog shit. Was literally days before the
just a marked message saying whore.
About Ethan's kids eating dog shit. Just a friend, obviously. Eternal harassment. These people are such cry bullies and bad at it. iDubbbz is the one who made the content cop. You were the ones who tried to harass Ethan. He has a literal snark subreddit for him. They're literally trying to get at him in any way possible, but no, you're the ones being harassed. It's like you're literally just getting out him in any harass Ethan. He has a literal snark.
The snark Reddit site, right? The r/Reddit snark. That shit killed a animal shelter lady, right? Because there were so many people hating on her that she did take her own life. I don't know whether she was a good or bad person, but this shit, I know for a fact this shit is not good. Right. There is some snarks that are justified to some extent. To some extent. Right. But as a whole, this is absolutely vile, absolutely disgusting.
Snark subreddit for him. They're literally trying to get at him in any way possible, but no, you're the ones being harassed. It's like you're literally just getting out what you dished out. Right, but Anissa, why not take a second and just reflect on your own actions? You're not innocent in all of this, so maybe get off social media and look at your actions. Are you actually trying to say something reasonable right now? Who do you think you're talking to? Right, so
who the hell you think you're talking to, huh? To someone who's reasonable? Someone reasonable? These subreddits have gone too far. Yeah, a lot did. A lot of them did,
she
right?
Made this tweet, what's all the hubbub about? I'm so nice and sweet. And she's just...
This gives nice girl energy. Don't you think so?
Right, so after this...
I'm so nice and sweet. This gives I'm a nice girl energy. I'm a nice guy energy, no? Don't you think so?
She made this tweet, what's all the hubbub about? I'm so nice and sweet. And she's just posted a selfie. Nah, that shit was so dumb, I guess I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, after literally destroying your husband's life and career, ruining a charity event, putting your friends in tough financial...
But hey, brother, more Pegasus. Goddamn. Sharp beard. There are no reasonable people on Reddit, and it's a massive psyop from the defense.
Situation. You're gonna post a selfie in response? Ay, Anissa, the type of person
like the 4chans.
Present herself as this sweet and innocent person, but behind the scenes she's like this actual devil sent by Satan himself to actually ruin your life, destroy your career completely. Also, follow my muscle up journey on Instagram.
Oh hell yeah!
30-pound weighted pull up the other day.
God damn.
Maybe one day I can finally lift Froggen. Goal of every gym bro. Then she continued posting, look, I'm even capable of smiling. How can you be mean to someone who can smile? And this cringe.
Or you are finally gonna be able to lift Hassan's losing streak. Look, I'm even capable of smiling. How can you be mean to someone who can smile? Yes, I'm smiling in front of a camera. You should. That is the fakest smile. How can you fake someone like me who smiles at the camera and begs for sympathy can be anything but a psychopath?
Emoji, and then she's just posted another picture of her with the creepiest smile ever. I'm actually being harassed. I'm being harassed through the screen here. Smiling creepily into a...
I'm sorry. This looks like from iCarly, Sam, the violent one, the violent blonde, looks at you when she has a butter sock. That's how Sam would look at you when she has a sock full of butter, so she can hit you in the head with it.
Camera is not going to change the things you did. Can you actually
Holy
take
shit.
accountability for once in your life? You're a narcissist. We get it. Drugs?
The comments once again being absolutely crazy.
Reference to her tweet about Ethan, obviously. Jesus Christ, just an aura of profound sadness around you. And it was moving on to Jellywig. Now, last time we talked about
Jellywig, because no spine. Jellyfish have no spine. Jellywig.
how he actually had a good take on the whole situation. He actually defended Ethan, saying it's not Ethan's fault for Creator Clash being cancelled, despite his chat having the complete opposite opinion.
Ethan Klein did it. Okay, I'm not trying to be controversial here, but I do think
You're not. Your chat's gonna make it controversial, but only in your like circle, only in your immediate area. But you are speaking facts right now.
iDubbbz posting the content cop was one of the dumbest moves ever. Straight up.
Yes.
That was crazy. You know, make that video when Creator Clash isn't happening.
Content cop, not
Let's
new.
not act like this isn't 100% H3 in their toxic community's fault. Lud's content cop take was insane if you consider it was literally about a genocide. Of course, how are you talking about this?
Oh
When there's a
my
genocide going on? I
God.
can't believe you just wrote this comment when there's a genocide going on. Disgusting. Right, so Ethan responded, "Thank you, Ludwig. I appreciate."
I can't believe they made a post while a genocide is going on. How dare they leave a comment while a genocide is going on? How dare they even consume media while other people are dying on the world? Yeah. Insane people.
Appreciate your willingness to say it like it is, even if you catch shit for it. You've already defended me more than Ian and Anisha.
Damn.
Comment Ludwig W. So after this, Anissa responded. This person said, Ludwig on Creator Clash, he's more upset about the event being canceled than what Ian was talking about in his content cop, calling it quote-unquote dumb. Anissa responds, okay, I'm just gonna come out and clear something up. Ian won't be happy I'm doing this, but I think we need more transparency. Ticket sales were abysmal before the content top. Promotion wasn't going how we had hoped. Charity wasn't getting the numbers we wanted. So you're telling me this event was a complete failure from the very beginning, and you were trying to pretend it's successful this entire time, basically tricking every one of the creators involved, even tricking.
So they lied from start to finish. That's cool. That's absolutely all right.
This was actually going to
nothing going on here.
Substantial amount of money for charity. Holy shit, this is pathetic. Now, as for Ludwig, do I think he's being genuine? I don't really know, but I think he's starting to learn from the whole Mango situation that it's maybe better to not pander to absolute extremist morons and actually just say what you really think. Don't bother trying to appease people who will never be appeased and will probably turn on you the second things get tough. And I know it can be hard when some of your fan base is so Hassan-pilled or whatever, but
you don't want this guy's fan base as your own. You don't. It's I'd rather keep you guys. I'd rather be stuck with you guys forever than grow to the size of Hassan, but only with this kind of people. I'd rather be stuck at two views average.
But don't worry, they will filter themselves out, and then life is good again. Anissa continues responding, we were promised a lot of things didn't happen. I take responsibility for trying to do it again. We shouldn't have, but I think we made the best out of the situation. The charity got 225k, and a lot of that was due to the buzz around Hassan supporting the charity. Okay.
Ah, yes.
Absolutely do not be fooled. Anissa raised $0 for this. This amount was raised by Hassan and Ethan's beef. It was a bunch of people mad at Ethan trying to get at him, and I honestly don't care whatever reason they had for
Hassan pilled. Mumi medicated. Let's go. Mumi medicated.
They were helping charity, and that's a good thing. And because I'm
my medicine works this way. You get a bandage. You cannot ask where it's from. You smell it. You're medicated. I almost swallowed wrong again. But this time it was my spit.
actually a fair man, I will be congratulating Hassan for this. I don't really like the guy, obviously, but if he does something objectively good, I'm not going to criticize him for it, because that would make me as insane as him, and I try to stay as factual as...
By the way, I don't actually have medicine. Please, pharma, my medicine doesn't work. It's not medicine. Okay, it's just a meme.
Possible. She continues, charity got money the fighters got paid, things didn't work out, the content cup wasn't some sudden turning point, the interest in Creator Class 3 was low. Again, this is completely disingenuous. Obviously, the content cup played a massive role. The literal event got completely cancelled. You know, I'm sure the interest in Creator Class 3 was low, but with the content cup, it made the whole situation 10 times worse, and it basically went from low to about 0 to negative. In fact, a bunch of people ended up hating you guys and hating the whole situation and refused to trust you guys to give you their money for charity. Then she responds again, to clarify, I'm saying Ian won't be happy. To make it clear that this decision and making this public is my
Okay,
own
Mumi,
and
whatever
I'm
you
taking
say. God damn
responsibility for
it.
this
Oh,
statement.
no.
Sorry for poor wording. Wow, you're taking responsibility for this statement. Nice. Not all the other shit, though. Classic Anissa single-handedly sabotaging any chance of an actual good response to this. Throwing Ian under the bus to save your own skin. Crazy work. The crash out is bad. Christ, that's the least of your worries after these posts. Also, can you stop acting like Ian has any autonomy at all? We know you control, like, every single aspect of his life here, alright? As if Ian is gonna do anything about this at all. What is he gonna do? Scold his wife? Hell no. Bro actually acts like he has zero free will. Okay, moving on to the Hassan Orbiters. Turns out they are turning on Ludwig. Starting with Shonda Black here, I have a lot of thoughts on this, being a Lud watcher. But for now, I'll stick to just expressing how disappointing this is. Heaven forbid Ludwig have a good take for once, and he's instantly abandoned by all of his so-called watchers, viewers, supporters. Bro, Shonda Black is
He can bounce back. No. Ludwig can bounce back. He can build a good community on his own fast. He can, absolutely. He doesn't need Hassan. But I don't think he will do that on his own, which is sad. Truly believe that is sad.
His so-called watchers, viewers, supporters. Bro, Shonda Black is the guy that literally shit his pants after Ethan threatened to sue him, but then he was actually joking, and this guy had the biggest sigh of relief, and then he suddenly started acting tough about the whole thing. Dude, you should be throwing a party that you're not getting sued into bankruptcy right now. Somebody says, what do you accomplish by having a lot of thoughts on something, but refusing to say what they are here? Because from the outside looking in, iDubbbz had a generational fumble here. I think talking about the downfall without addressing the massive hate campaign that preceded the content cop is disingenuous. Content cop was a reaction to the harassment stoked by Ethan. It didn't exist within a vacuum. Dude, how do you exist in this, like, altered version of reality? Must be so exhausting to constantly put up this weird made-up projection of events. The content cop was so...
he's chained himself to Hassan now, and this community has been parasitized. Well, I mean... there are ways to get off of Hassan pretty quick for Ludwig. Because Ludwig has these massive events and shit. He will be able to bounce. Yeah, he's gonna suffer casualties. Huge casualties. But all in all, it'll be, I think, far more healthy for his mental, even physical, because the mental affects the physical. And, you know, it will make him, like, have a new spark and lit a new flame for content creation. Because I think he's getting, like, pretty like bad mentally. Like, he's going to a bad place. Let's say it that way.
Oh gracious, I don't even know why anyone would take offense to it. So
because I genuinely believe he knows what's happening around him. I genuinely believe that he knows what wrongs he's doing.
Silly when people pretend it was offensive. Yes, it was the most empathetic thing ever. Holy guacamole, bro. Right, moving on to Caseytron. Basically, she responded to Anissa's post, the dehumanization that happens towards you as a woman in content creation is unreal. Men we work alongside are cheering, whatever this is, affiliated with
holy
rapists,
shit,
making jokes about children drowning. Well, to be fair, I'm with you on that one. I don't like Destiny or NMP either. But God forbid I react to a video everyone reacted to. Yes, completely ignore the legal
let's ignore that you smoked longer than you talked. By the way, this is hour 43 minutes, this video. And based on what I've seen, I believe she has like 15 minutes and something seconds of talking, of actual commentary.
Context of it, violating
So,
copyright, maliciously stealing content. She smoked more than she spoke. Anissa supporting her queen, Casey Tron. It's insane. The witch burning is out of control, and it's so
Witch burning. I feel like I think there were more greens burned than witches burned in these lawsuits, but whatever.
But it feels like it's somehow gotten worse. Like, I don't remember it being this bad in 2014, but maybe I've just rose-colored glasses. We're like the elders of the streaming world now. Grouping yourself together.
There is no fucking way. There's no way Anissa called these people the elders of streaming? I'm sorry, what? I know PewDiePie is retired. But let's not pretend like he isn't the elder of streaming. Because elder implies that one is like close or already retired,
just
no?
Rose-colored glasses. We're like the elders of the streaming world now.
This is insane. This is fucking insane.
Stupidest things you've ever done. This is not a man versus woman issue. Where did this even come from? They try to make everything about like sexism or racism. You're just being an idiot and you're being called out for it. My God. You know, I'm actually shocked that Casey actually didn't use the word incel. This is like surprising. Holy shit. Well, a certain someone is rallying the incel. Oh,
fucking okay. Whatever. It's fine.
Troops behind him because it's all that he has left. So why not target women like you, me, Denims, Froggen, Taylor Lorenz, who have all been universally hated and borderline stalked by these incel freaks for years. I was wondering, like, oh my god, she actually made one tweet, one statement without the word incel in it, and then she had to do it twice in one tweet just to make to restore the balance of the universe. Dude, my theory is actually correct. Like, some witch has put a curse on Caseytron that if she doesn't say the word incel every 5 minutes, she will spontaneously combust and explode and die. Oh my god, I feel so bad for you, Caseytron. Wow. By the way, each and every one of these people is hated for a different reason. So trying to boil down the whole issue to women is just so disingenuous.
That is absolutely true. I don't remember what the reasons were, but I believe Froggen didn't react at all. She had like her bathroom breaks that went on for like 10 minutes each, and her own community at some point was like, oh shit, do some reacting for God's sake, and you know, didn't happen. Caseytron, of course, the smoking. She's not hated because she smokes. She's hated because smoking is her personality. I don't remember the Denims thing though.
Who am I arguing with? Literally, Caseytron plays witch burning, and it's just the literal consequences of your actions. This
True.
person says, "Can you post proof you're being harassed by Ethan?" I know you, incel. I'm very smart and like basic reading comprehension. Let me explain it to you. Right now, Ethan Klein is specifically targeting women like me and Issa Taylor, because we have universally hated by the extremely vocal, screeching incel demographic. Yo, he chose us as the main target of his real smear campaigns because he knew thousands of incel losers. Oh my god, dude, would jump on board despite there being no actual logic behind him, just out of their pure hatred of women. If this were really about copyright or not reacting hard enough, he would have sued Asmongold and XCC as well. Oh my god, he literally.
We have gone over this, why this is not the case. Asmongold, on average, adds the video length to his commentary. I have looked recently at my stuff, and I get about 90 to 110% of the video length added through commentary. That's what I do usually. This far, that's what I've seen on my when I upload a video. Right, minus 30 seconds of intro and outro, but whatever. 30 seconds is on the higher end, but that's how it is. And he can't put Hassan in a lawsuit because he told him to react. He can't go back on that. Asmongold, as said, does the whole doubling the length of the video thing through commentary. Oh, whoops. And XQC, I'm not sure. But XQC and H3 had a talk, and they actually had like a pretty good one. And they're like friendly with each other now.
Stated exactly why he sued you guys. It's completely different. You maliciously chose to steal content. Didn't he go for Sean the Black as well? Yeah, so true. It's not like a vocally far leftist black man isn't also the target of an incel demographic. Great point, moron incel.
Oh my god.
She's an actual like satire character, bro. But it's a real person. It's a real actual person. As an avid pot smoker myself, you make a bad name for all of us, considering how outrageously stupid you are. May actually give credit to the claims that weed kills brain cells. So no real reason.
Ooh. I can advocate for that. Weed does kill brain cells. Useless, my best friend, is an absolute dumbass. Absolute fucking dumbass. Brainless even. More brainless than me, and I don't have a brain.
He's under genuine criticism. Just an incel crying about women existing online with an opinion that differs from theirs. Thank you for proving my point. Where are we at with the incel counter? Holy shit. If I hit $1 every time Casey said the word incel, I'd be as rich as Hassan's dad. Anyway, she continues melting down. Jesus was the first communist, and the government crucified.
There is no fucking way.
Him for it. Conservative Christians don't want to wake the tea up. What? Okay, I'm not familiar with the religious text, but is this accurate? Nux responds, Exodus, you shall not covet your neighbor's house or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Leviticus, each of you shall return your own property into your own family.
Prage, no. Nux.
Ratio.
Oh my god. Fucking incels!
Can you imagine just her losing her mind in a room with her tall, strong boyfriend who's definitely not a Discord mod? Casey, I will pay literally both of you $5,000 if you can do one pull-up. And pulling the...
Do not call the gospel tea, heathen fool Casey.
Entire Earth down does not count. Moving on to Tectone versus Destiny. Now, if you missed the previous video, there was the flash flood situation in Texas, which led to a bunch of people dying, including children. Now, streamer...
Oh, yeah. I know about this. The unsubscribed podcast people gone together. They actually searched for the missing people. They... One message that was very disturbing is that one of the rescue members said, hey, why don't we all get ourselves thermal goggles to look for the heat of the people? And the guys who knew their stuff were like, that's not gonna be very useful because we're probably not gonna be looking for warm bodies. That hit me. That hit me hard. That just shows you the situation there. That is a sentence or two, I don't care, that will just hit you hard. Also, her husband was on Grindr. I learned what the notifications sound against my will thanks to Nux's chat. Yeah, no. The situation there is fucking disgusting. Tectone, GigaChat, when being asked for help was at first like, I have a sponsor tomorrow, I can't, and was like, but when he like went off call later, he was like, man, I don't feel good about this. Canceled his sponsor and went there as soon as he woke up the next day. absolute giga chat, helped there and actually, you know, helped a rescue team. And that's why he was a bit more emotional on that situation, which understandable, absolutely. Holy shit.
P and Destiny found this hilarious and started making jokes about it, doubling down. Meanwhile, people
Absolutely
were actively
disgusting.
looking for the bodies and missing people. We ended the video with Destiny saying this: maybe the kids weren't fit for camping near a river if they couldn't swim.
Absolutely disgusting. And the situation was so damn grim, he made the hard call and chose to sacrifice a profitable venture to volunteer his aid. Yeah. Yeah. Because these streamers had such a reach, at the end they had too many people helping. Which is goddamn, by the way. As they were fucking glowing. Understandable.
Destiny thinks he's being funny and edgy, but in reality he's just revealing why his son hates him and his wife left him. I don't know.
Every time these comments, holy fuck.
What's wrong with these people, why they feel the need to antagonize people who are suffering. Anyways, then he started beefing with Tectone.
It's like, you know, let's not make jokes about stuff that happened 20 years ago. You know, 9/11 jokes are a thing, right? No, let's not make jokes about stuff that happened 20 years ago. Let's make jokes about that shit that happened 2 days ago. Let's fucking go! Salt into the wound, lemonade into the wound. Ah! You know, that's disgusting. God, Destiny should shut the fuck up. I hope you like getting turned into random animals for your constant lies, Destiny.
Destiny calls out Tectone and takes shot at his dad's. Thinks that he's acting soy and hypocritical in his reaction to the Texas floods.
Tiresome when it's applied to you. Like, you understand that you sound like every single soy fuck, like non-binary LGBT person, like,
for going to a catastrophe and helping with the aid? He's soy? Okay, I didn't see this, okay? I only saw, like, Tectone talking about it, and that's where I got the sentence from that is, like, really, really grim.
why do people have to make homophobic jokes all day? And why do people have to joke about blah, blah, blah? And you're like, dude, it's just a joke. Get over it. Dude, why do you care so much? But now when it's about kids that aren't even... You're not even related to these people.
Insane motherfucker.
Future potential victims for...
The bitch stuff project vociferously. Vociferously.
Your dad? What do you... I don't understand what the... what is the connection here? They are so personally fucking offended. Like, what the fuck?
Because he went there and dug up the bodies, buddy. How about that? Actually digging up bodies? Helping with that aid? That's traumatizing. I don't know if he went into detail, but that's what was happening in that area.
It's so stupid.
Okay.
Holy shit. Grow the fuck up, or maintain a consistent position and don't make those jokes ever. Just say...
His position is being honest, but whatever.
We don't do edgy humor here, guys. We do edgy humor for every single fucking group of people, except for the ones that I personally...
Jokes about groups of people is different from people just yesterday, in this case probably, lost family. About their children that died recently. Jokes about race are not the same as that. But yeah. Okay.
I really got upset about, like, Christ, you guys will fucking talk about God's judgment and everything, and these motherfuckers were killed at like a fucking Christian camp in Texas, all right? Listen, if God was gonna command any kind of natural disaster to happen, seems like it would be right here, all right? Jesus.
Destiny actually needs serious mental help. Like, I don't know what's happening to him, but every clip I've been seeing is him having this unhinged crash out. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy when he shit talks Hassan. I enjoy when anyone shit talks Hassan, to be honest. But I found this situation pretty disgusting. The tragedy is literally actively happening, and this dude thinks it's funny to joke about. I don't know, it's just in poor taste, and I understand if it's something from a long while back, like 9/11 jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more nuance to
Not
it.
pre-watched, by the way. Absolutely not pre-watched, by the way.
A long while back, like 9/11 jokes or whatever. But I feel like there's more nuance to it. You know the old Professor Oak message, there's a time and a place for everything, but not now. I feel like this just shows you're willing to do anything to win internet points because you're so politically brain rotted. I think his justification is something like, oh well, the other side does it too, or somebody else made fun of this other tragic situation. I don't know about any of that. All I'm seeing right now is this person acting unhinged as a regular person looking from the outside.
Do you think maybe the reason why I'm a little bit more emotionally invested in these children is because
Yeah, I saw
was
this a little
trying
bit.
to help find them the other day? Do you think the reason why Donut is so emotionally invested is because we were trying to go out and find them? Now, I would love for you to encourage, or feel free to find me a video of me during a active crisis where there are people's lives in danger, me making fun of dead children. Maybe wait a week, you know? Maybe wait 2 weeks.
Future potential victims for your dad? What do you, I don't understand what is the connection here? They are so personally fucking offended. Like, what the
I want you to listen to yourself say this and listen to me talk about this.
They are so personally fucking offended. The connection here.
Ooh.
They are so personally fucking offended. The connection here. They are so personally fucking offended.
Which one of us sounds personally offended right now? Because it ain't me.
I mean, that was a solid comeback. Destiny was sounding completely unhinged there, emotional meltdown. And yeah, Tectone, Donut Operator, Brandon Herrera, all those guys were literally out there helping people during the crisis.
Yeah.
It's genuinely a really nice and thoughtful thing to do. And of course, they're going to be a little bit more attached because of this. But even as someone who is far away, I still have a little bit of basic empathy for, you know, dead children. That's something you're allowed to have empathy for. Then he talks about Destiny looking fatherless.
What's crazy is you want to bring up my dad, but what's crazy is you look like a guy who doesn't even know his dad. And your son probably
Hitting him with the
also
facts.
wishes that he didn't know his dad. Because you want to talk about victims. Brother, I got thousands of victims in my chat.
Oh,
where
no.
all of our eyes were sexually assaulted.
All right, I'm lucky. I didn't see that shit. Okay. At that point, I was not on Twitter yet. And that's a good thing. I'm lucky not to have seen that shit. I'm lucky to have been spared of that trauma, right? I'm lucky I'm not glowing in that kind of way, so
By your ass when we all saw you sucking a dick on Twitter.
that
There's not enough bleach in the world to get me to forget about that fucking goatee going down on that sloppy toppy. Ain't nobody want to see that shit.
that is
Okay,
not
I
a
have not seen
description
whatever
I
the hell he's
want
talking
to
about here.
hear.
I'm thanking the Lord I have not seen
Same, Morpega, same.
whatever he's talking about there. I'm assuming something involved.
I was
Destiny
spared.
leaked or whatever. But yeah, he really needs to chill out. He's starting to fall into the Hassan boat where you just automatically get discounted because you're so unhinged. And then it just turns off anyone from listening to any of your other points regarding any situation.
Don't make those jokes ever. Just say, we don't do edgy humor here, guys.
Okay, Destiny, I'll tell you what. You can call me a hypocrite. I, from this day forward, will never make fun of dead children as people are actively looking for them. And if I do, you can come back and you can call me a hypocrite. And then I will say, I am sorry, Destiny. You are the arbiter of truth. I am a hypocrite. And then my career will be over.
I think to boil down
Damn.
everything to edgy jokes is so disingenuous. Obviously,
It is.
the timing and the context of the joke matters. And when Destiny tweets out this shit, it just shows how politically brain-rotted he is, that he's finding some justification to say the most unhinged shit. You know, I'm not trying to police humor here. I'm a fan of edgy jokes, you know, dark humor, whatever. But it's a little different when you're doing it actively as the situation is happening. I feel like most people just look at this and go like, oh, well, you know, he's joking about dead children. I don't really like this guy. Moving on. Anyways, Asmon responded.
But you
I
know,
don't know why people keep trying to bring up his dad, as if like it's his fault that his dad did something. Yeah.
Yeah. That is big. It is weird how people keep up bringing his dad. What is up with that, actually? I don't understand. Like, yes, his dad did sexually harass. Let's be accurate here. Like, harass women. It wasn't assault, it was harassment, right? Sexual harassment, not even like assault. Fun fact, the dogs who were tasked with finding bodies during 9/11 got so sad from finding dead bodies that the firefighters and other service people buried themselves in the rubble a little to bring up the dogs' morale. Oh. When the happiest animal on earth gets fucking depressed by an event, you know it's bad.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. People live for this type of drama. Yeah, I do think this shit's funny. It is very fucking funny.
That is not a fun fact.
Gets a lot of shit
in
because
fact,
of his dad. I really don't think you should be criticized for the actions of someone else that was out of your control, of course. Now, sometimes that type of criticism is justified based on, again, the context of the situation. But I get it. It's a quick jab. It's easy to make. Now, click this video, or Anissa is in charge of your bank account. You're going. It's easy to make. Now click this video, or Anissa is in charge of your bank account. You're going broke. Thanks for.
Okay, I clicked it.
So powerful. The
I clicked it,
like
but
literally...
before anything, let's just like it. Yeah, that was a ride. I'll link the video again everywhere. I'll link it again. So here you go. Here you go. The stuff is linked everywhere. What is this? Okay, no, it's fine. No. I'll look at that later. Some point. Sometime. But yeah, that was freaking terrible. The video was well made and researched, but holy shit. Why? Holy shit. Okay. Let's take a quick short break by watching this guy. This guy is based. We've seen this a few of his videos. He's pretty good.
You might not like the truth, but I'll never tell a lie. You know, I keep getting in my comments, Rigo, if it wasn't for black trans women, you wouldn't have any rights right now. Okay, and... First of all, if it's true, I'll always give credit where credit is due. But let's be very clear. I'm not talking about the past, and I'm not gonna let you deflect from what it is that I'm actually saying. I'm talking about the present moment, because the trans movement today isn't fighting for rights. Is it still about rights when you're trying to silence women? When your community is confusing kids? And when you're trying to rewrite biology and science? This isn't about rights. They're fighting for power. And right now, they want it all. They're not storming police stations, no. They're storming school boards. They're not demanding equality. They're demanding compliance. And if you don't listen to them and repeat their script word for word, then you're a bigot, you're transphobic, a traitor, and a pick-me-gay. This is not about Stonewall, and this is not about liberation. It's about domination of language, spaces, and reality. You have biological men winning women's championships, and you're calling it
that shit
progress.
Is ridiculous.
They're out here telling kids that they're born in the wrong body before they even...
By the way, about the women's sports stuff, they actually have been retracted. All the men winning in women's championships and shit, all those wins have been retracted. Like, for example, Haley Thomas or whatever, the swimmer. Yeah, her win is gone. All of it got erased, snapped out of existence.
Even know how to spell their name. And they expect us to clap and stay quiet. Hate to break it to you, but you don't get to hide behind historic struggles. While pushing a movement that mocks women, confuses children, and bullies anyone who thinks for themselves. I respect anyone who actually fought for equality.
Yeah, that is also a thing. Children up to the age of 10, in my mind at least, should only be worried about, what am I gonna eat today? Who am I gonna play with? What are we gonna play? Can I go outside today? Can I go on my Xbox? Can I do this? Can I do that? But not, what gender am I? They shouldn't be thinking about that shit at all. Right? And I'm not saying after the age of 10 they should be thinking, what gender am I? No, then they should be thinking, oh, what's gonna happen in school next? Right? And around age 16, they should have like, oh yeah, I want to go there next, and I want to do this next in my life, right? Have basic understanding of life by that point, right? That should be the natural way. Maybe get into dating. Maybe you already discovered you're like not interested in the opposite sex. That's fine, right? That's all fine and dandy, but they shouldn't be worrying about what gender they are that soon. That's only gonna invite problems
anyone
mentally.
Who thinks for themselves. I respect anyone who actually fought for equality. But this new wave is the farthest thing from brave. It's narcissistic, misogynistic, and extremely entitled. So when I speak up, I'm not speaking about the past. I'm calling out what's become.
And why my pee-pee getting hairy? Bro. I'm not gonna say this.
What started off as a fight for rights has turned into a campaign for control, and the silent majority has had enough. Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think this current trans movement is fighting for rights, or is it fighting for control? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, love you guys. Peace.
Yep. This is a good guy. His takes are fucking based. I like the truth. Reply. You might not like the truth, but I'll never tell a lie is so fucking good of an intro, goddamn. Oh yeah, Mari had her birthday yesterday. Or today, I don't remember when I, like, no, it was yesterday when I congratulated her. Yeah. Again, congrats, Mari. _ EN / Face Connect. Happy birthday. Gallons! I lost gallons to this whore! Many. This is all I found. You found gallons. It's so good. Yeah. So, this is another 33-minute video. Okay, let's get into this one, shall we? Pirate Software tried to crucify Coding Jesus. I saw Coding Jesus's video on him dismantling Pirate Software's code and basically saying, oh yeah, intern could have done this better. Murray _ EN of faceconnect.com. yeah, no, I get it. Jesus was just saying your code is shit. You could even the most basic of interns could have done this. This is the lowest level isn't this bad, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So let's get into it.
Disingenuous at best and an obfuscation tactic at worst, because as you can see here, there's a lot of numbers here. It's very obvious when I'm talking about a magic number. I'm talking about things like 1, 0, 15, 270, 360. I'm not talking about what my mouse just happens to be highlighting, which is SPR Spark. Yeah, and that's actually not my cursor, that's his. I just realized, because that's his video that I'm looking at. I can't highlight his code in his video. So he has his cursor on Spark. And I'm talking about all the numbers around that, but he's zoning in on Spark. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why he decided to do that. He has this repeating theme where somebody gives him a question, and then he pivots to something that somebody didn't even ask or address to try to get out of that question.
Now, recently, like just yesterday, this guy right here, Coding Jesus, he had put out a video talking about Pirate Software's code and that he had reviewed it and was not super stoked about it. Now, I watched that video on stream yesterday and had the privilege to actually chat with Coding Jesus, and then he was also making a second video, which he had just put out a couple hours ago now as well. Now, in tandem with this happening, Livestream put out a video showcasing clips of Pirate Software responding to Code Jesus dissecting Heartbound's code, and it's 7 minutes and 30 seconds of clips. Now, some of this stuff was technical talk, other things were actual points that I myself could talk about, so I figured if I'm going to cover these clips, I think the best way to do that would be to do it with Code Jesus. So I hopped in a call with him. We had both.
So I cannot code, but what I am good at is being a carpenter. And I can just make like synopsis of what I would do as a carpenter in my job that would look similar, right? Because we do have planning for construction sites and all that stuff. Planning of when we do what are we doing, how do we build it, you know, that kind of stuff. Which again, yeah, you know, it's not as well, actually, it is kind of complicated. So I'm not gonna try to right now here be like, oh yeah, this is more complicated. No, that is more complicated. No, I'm just gonna like make I guess try to make smart references.
Both watched the clip prior, and we went over and addressed the most important points through those clips. Now, just a quick 10 seconds before we jump into this video, I highly recommend that you check out Coding Jesus. What we cover in this is just those clips, but these two videos that he's put out have gone into full detail and really go into explaining his points of view. And for those of you who are really into coding and understand it, he does excellent stuff. And so in this, I'm just trying to, you know, make sure that I can also give to you guys a summary that's a bit more digestible for those who don't. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoy the video.
Jesus can help you? You mean the guy who's never used GameMaker Studio, doesn't know GameMaker?
Directly talking down to him.
Language and talked a lot of shit but was wrong.
What's kind of embarrassing for him is I have around 5 minutes of experience worth of GameMaker, and I was still able to correct him on the data types within the game in my recent response video by simply referencing the documentation. So that's an iconic statement from him right off the bat. All right, we can continue.
Okay.
You should look at my comment underneath this video. Imagine screaming and shitting about alarms in GameMaker saying, why aren't these renamed when you literally can't rename them? Wild behavior.
Oh no. He's gonna show us how to rename them.
It's just another, like, YouTube grifter trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is. All too common these days.
Have you ever talked about Pirate before this? Like, what got you interested in covering this?
Yeah, what got me interested in covering it is somebody who talks a big game.
I used GameMaker to make retro games in high school. Oh, hell yeah.
And then I want to investigate, is what they produced coherent with who they portray themselves as, right? So when he says, I'm a grifter, I think I've actually been doing this for longer than he has. I built a consistent audience, producing content that plays towards the exact same theme, which is getting better at development. I never came onto YouTube claiming I'm the best. It's actually a learning journey for me as well, but I'm not understanding what
Coding Jesus nonetheless.
of other people in my Discord community, other individuals as well, my own code. I've done coding live streams. So when I saw somebody that had a dev live stream that talked about video game development, I wanted to check it out. And little did I know it would be a goldmine because it would expose him for his inability to remain congruent with who he portrays he is.
And you were setting all to 0 with 8 lines. Those were set to 0 because it was ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off.
So pause there. So his chatter actually corrects him by identifying my critique. As a developer, you shouldn't be copying and pasting alarm, 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 alarm equals 0 and setting it to 0 for every object in the array. So what he's doing here is a classic example of deflection. He pretends the chatter asked, why do you set the alarms to 0 instead of the question, which was, why don't you iterate over them in a for loop? A for loop is a very basic coding construct. If you're iterating through a consecutive set of numbers, you definitely want to use that. It's the perfect scenario for a for loop. But he pretends that he didn't understand the question and then tries to answer something else.
I'm also trying to think of like how we can make it easier for people that are outside of coding to understand. So there's essentially a much more efficient way to do what he's doing that a rudimentary coder would understand to do. And he completely reshapes the question to
Okay. How I can explain this in carpenter terms is when you have an intern that has no idea about carpentry and he tries to screw a screw into wood by hand and you just give him a machine to do it, like the electrical screwdriver kind of thing. I don't know how to say it in English, I'm sorry. And you know, instead of using a screwdriver, you use the electrical one. But even he knew to use a tool. And what Pirate's doing is not even using a tool, but like trying to screw it in by hand, by like actual hand. That is the closest thing I can make this out to be.
To avoid having to admit that.
Yeah, another point as well is, if he did not want to use a for loop, instead of associating an alarm with an index, like alarm 0, alarm 1, alarm 2, because as somebody reviewing code, it's not very evident what that actually refers to. He could have said alarm, and then had a variable called left and set it to 0, and indexed into that alarm array, or alarm data structure, with the variable left. So I would know that this alarm, whatever it is, it's associated with the left boundary of his character or object. So there was two approaches he could have taken here. Both would have been better, but he chose to ignore both.
Can't see your comment. Did he delete it? That'd be even funnier.
You know what would be funny? Would be actually funny? If one of his colleagues pointed that out and he said, no, we do it this way. We do it my way because you're a stupid fucking bitch.
You deleted the comment? That would be even funnier.
Yeah, I didn't delete the comment.
No, it's still there.
Oof.
Yeah, there you go. It's still there.
I wrote this underneath this video.
Him talking about people like taking this way too seriously and having these gripes, and he is taking time to downvote the other comments, the only other two you can see on screen.
I think the more important thing here is that when he went to, he definitely deleted my comment, that was a bit of projection. I think that's probably the first thing he thinks about when he thinks of a comment that he doesn't like. And then later he realized, you didn't delete I don't delete comments. The only time I'll delete a comment if it's like a death threat or something extremely egregious. But if you disagree with me, I have no problem with your comment remaining up and people discussing it. It's more engagement for me. The only reason he mentioned that he thinks I deleted his comment is because that's what he does. You go on his live stream, you'll see somebody comment hashtag stop killing games, and then in 3 seconds that comment's gone. His moderators have taken it out. So a lot of this is projection as well.
I think he was probably expecting, as you know, a lot of his comments, even when he's getting ratioed, end up climbing their way to the top, but they aren't. Matter of fact, I was trying to find the comment, and I had to confirm with Coding Jesus, he had to search for the comment because he couldn't find it himself because it's been absolutely buried because nobody is taking it seriously. And maybe he was just expecting that it would go to the top, like most of his stuff has done for, I don't know, the last couple of years. And then secondly, if I get hate comments, I don't even react to them. Like, what's the point of even downvoting them? It doesn't matter. They have some sort of criticism or they're making fun of me. Like, I'm getting a bunch of like milking comments for going over this. Okay. Like, I can't even waste the time to downvote it. It doesn't matter. If people are...
Happy Son! Hola! No, my official title is SlobTube Streamer. Hello? Hello? You gotta call me what I am! Slob. Hola, slob. Slob.
They're going to say what they say. Me putting a thumbs down isn't going to change any of it. And it just, I don't know. It's interesting, at least, that I saw that he was doing it.
Sprite Spark is not a magic number. It's a direct reference to an asset file called Sprite Spark. This is how GameMaker allows you to link sprites and other assets. When you want to use a sprite, sound, or other object, you call it by name.
This is disingenuous at best and an obfuscation tactic at worst, because as you can see here, there's a lot of numbers here. It's very obvious when I'm talking about a magic number. I'm talking about things like 1, 0, 15, 270, 360. I'm not talking about what my mouse just happens to be highlighting, which is SPR Spark.
That's
for
like,
whatever reason.
yeah, that's like him saying, oh, look, he's talking about and giving
Sloppy playing games, fuck you.
shit about my turtles. And the part of the video is talking about all of the zebras, and you just happen to have your cursor sitting on a turtle.
Yeah, and that's actually not my cursor, that's his. I just realized, because that's his video that I'm looking at. I can't highlight his code.
Yeah, indeed. Best reaction to pirate is from Notch. Didn't Notch like link Quinn Theo as like, oh yeah, this is a pretty good synopsis
in his video. So he has his cursor on Spark, and I'm talking about all the numbers around that, but he's zoning in on Spark. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why he decided to do that. He has this repeating theme where somebody gives him a question, and then he pivots to something that somebody didn't even ask or address to try to get out of that question.
Changing this just creates layers of obfuscation without improving usability or performance. Alarms are internal to individual objects and only reference that same object that they're inside of. When you see alarm 0, it's hitting the alarm 0 on the left side of the object there. We cannot rename these as they are tied to the object they are placed in. Setting an alarm 0 causes that alarm to stop.
So my critique wasn't against the name alarm. It was against what he needed to explain to me to make clear. And that is that the index 0 corresponds to the alarm on the left. The fact that he needed to explain this to me is already a concession that it wasn't clear enough in his code. When you look at alarm 0, you have no idea what that alarm belongs to. What is 0? If he declared a variable called left, set it to 0, and then indexed into the alarm data structure or alarm array,
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Like to call it, then I would know at least that he's trying to represent a direction. But as it stands, it's not clear.
And your best way to explain it, so a lot of the contention that I see, a lot of the criticism that your video has received is that a lot of people think that, okay, but in a perfect world, Thor Pirate Software is not going to be sharing this code with you. It's only for him, only he needs to understand it. So outside of, trying to explain these points to you, because they're clearly, harder to unless he directly explains to you what's going on, why else would it be important to organize it differently or make it more readable?
I think the biggest point as to why it's important to make it more readable is that over time, as you code and you implement bad coding practices, you accumulate something called technical debt. Technical debt is a concept, for those that are not technical, where you make choices today that are not optimal in favor of expedience, and those choices end up biting you back in the future. So the more you copy and paste.
Well, yeah, you gotta have a system on how you do shit. If your system is flawed at the very start, it's gonna bite you back at the end. That is the same. I don't know what they're exactly talking about in the code, but I understand what they're talking about in the grand scheme of things. Because if I do the wrong thing first, instead of, like, for example, all the glue parts, instead of gluing those at the very start so they can harden when I do everything else, right? For example, I have a 3-day kitchen. Shit in, shit out. Well, no. If I make a kitchen, and that kitchen takes me approximately 3 days, the perfect step-by-step would be do the gluey parts first that need glue so they can harden on the first day, and you can edit them on the second day or third day, depending on, how you work. And then you do everything that also needs time. For example, if I have to put a film onto wood, for example, I gotta do that on the first day as well. Everything that needs time to dry, to harden, anything, that happens on the first day, right? Second day is when you do everything that is like everything, screws, putting the normal stuff together, you know, the furniture, everything that is like that important in terms of that. It doesn't have a cooldown, right? Basically, that happens on day 2. Day 3 is then you edit everything that you finish everything that you glued before. You finish those things, right? That is in a perfect thing. If I do it the other way around, if I do the glue stuff first, if I do the screw stuff first, day 1, and day 2 I do everything else, and I don't have enough time because I did the screw stuff first, day 3 it's not hardened, it's not dry, I can't edit anything, I'm fucked on day 3 that way, because I can't do anything anymore. I'm done. I will need a 4th day this way, even though it was supposed to be a 3-day work thing, 3-day job. I fucked up because I didn't do it the right in the right way, right? And that's what they're pointing out Pirate is doing. Pirate is using an extremely inefficient way for start and finish, basically. It's gonna bite him in the back.
Paste code.
That's why he's like 4 years late on the on the game publish, right?
The more you couple classes together, the more you make decisions for the sake of getting something out the door, as opposed to doing it right, the harder it is to continuously progress, because you're going to constantly looking back behind your shoulder and changing things which might have ripple effects throughout your code. Maybe
that's how spaghetti codes are made.
Copying and pasting in this case is fine. But what I'm trying to get to here, because I have such a lack of actual evidence of him coding, is that there is a very obvious pattern here. A pattern of poor coding practices, which might or might not be the reason why this game has taken 8 years to develop.
Essentially, I mean, a lot of people understand like spaghetti code. If you cut corners at the beginning,
not pre-washed, by the way, not pre-washed.
About like maybe even League of Legends, and I'm
Be
not
right back.
here to give League of Legends
All
shit.
right.
But an issue that can arise from doing something like that is that when you push out an update, suddenly something that has nothing to do with the update is now completely broken or doing something it shouldn't be. And that's because you didn't code it properly to begin with, which just ends up making things take way longer than if you had just done it right and taken, you know, a few extra minutes, a few extra hours at the beginning.
Yeah, and not a few extra hours might just mean more robust test cases. It might mean you took a short
spaghetti. Now you're making me hungry.
Cut in how you wrote a class, and now it's tied to something else, and that tie has secondary or tertiary effects on that object now. And that wasn't picked up because you have poor testing, or because you didn't integration test enough. So yeah, that's correct.
Data types are not defined in GameMaker. You cannot define a Boolean. You can use 0, 1, or true, false at will. It doesn't do anything. None of this matters in this language.
The Boolean and the data types.
Okay.
So I'd like to interpret this in two ways, because what he could have been saying here when he says data types are not defined is that you can't create your own custom data types, which is indeed wrong. You can create structures in GameMaker. It's in the documentation. Search up structure.
Do I have anything? Yeah. I think I have something. I cannot make my own screws, is what they're saying. In carpenter terms, I can't make my own screws. I'm using existent screws already, right? I cannot make new norms for them. I can't make them longer or thicker on my own. I can just get new ones that are thicker and longer, or shorter and thinner, right? And what I can do, however, is sort them in a way that makes sense for me. Like when I first need this, the long one, that's on the very left, and the next one is the shorter one, which I will most of the time need next. And then there is like you know, that kind of stuff, structure, system kind of stuff, right? System for carpentry and the structure for this.
And constructors. But maybe he wasn't referring to structs. Maybe he was referring to booleans, which also just isn't true.
I don't
In one
know
of my
what
more
that
recent
is.
videos, I investigated that. I pulled up the GameMaker documentation and I read the boolean instructions. So you would even be able to play this section of the video. I think that would probably be better. He makes the claim that you can't define a boolean in GameMaker because GameMaker itself doesn't have a native boolean type in its scripting language. In other words, it interprets reals as booleans. Now, to reconcile the fact that he used a boolean in his code with what he said, I decided to do what any developer would do, and that is I consulted the documentation. So if you go to data types in GameMaker, oh, look at that. You are also provided with constants, true and false, which can always be used in your code to prevent any issues, should the native Boolean type be defined later. So GML defines constants true as 1 and false as 0, and the documentation itself even recommends that you use true and false instead of reals in case that association between a Boolean and a real ever gets changed to a Boolean and some other native definition of a Boolean. So in other words, if they ever replace the aliasing of bools for reals with bools for actual bools, they recommend that you use true and false. But we know he's not going to concede on this point or admit the fact that he was wrong, given his track record. So let's move on to the next claim.
Since it's like, you know, coding speak, essentially, let's try to boil down just essentially what it is for people who don't have the coding language. So
he's wrong.
So he's saying this this city doesn't have houses. It only has like skyscrapers while living in a house in that city.
That Booleans don't exist. The documentation says to use Booleans as true and false because while they are currently aliasing integers, in the future, GameMaker may support a native Boolean data type. So the documentation itself, which you can see in my video, specifies please use true and false, because in the future, they might actually refer or be replaced by native Boolean types instead of integers. Yeah, as you can see the highlighted text here. You're also provided with constants true and false, which should always be used in your code to prevent any issues should real Boolean data types be added in the future.
The expectation is that that is going to be integrated in the future, and you should act accordingly as though that is going to be true, because number one, it's going to work for you, and number two, that prevents you from, you know, your code from completely shitting the bed when that is to happen, like when it is to be introduced.
Yeah, your code is not going to shit the bed when it is introduced, but it currently makes your code a lot more descriptive. It makes your code currently more descriptive, and when they come out with the update that adds these native Boolean types, as opposed to having Booleans just reflect 1 and 0 numbers, then you'll have an easy transition. When you look at his code, for example, in my first video, you look at his if statement or one of his switch statements, he has a variable called question true, and he sets it to 1 or 0. Now, if you're totally new to programming, or even if you're a seasoned developer, you look at a variable called question true, and then you see it being set to a number, you're asking yourself, what's going on? First of all, why is the variable called question true? That already implies that the result is true. I have no idea. Why would it be false? That's confusing. But also, why would it be a number? Question true should probably be true or false, but for some reason he's setting it to a number. The documentation states, currently 1 and 0 is interpreted as true or false, but regardless, please use true and please use false, because in the future, if we add a native Boolean type, they will be switched out. So true and false, instead of being 1 or 0 as the underlying type, it'll be an actual Boolean type.
What he's saying here, like the argument that he's trying to make, is that I am getting the same output, I'm getting the same outcome by writing 0/1/true or false. And the whole point of it is you are kind of disorganizing yourself and creating that technical debt that you were referring to earlier by making it this non-descriptive.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's not necessarily technical debt because, yeah, it's confusing to look at, but it's not confusing to the point where it might screw up other parts of your code. The way that I'd like to think about it is his use of 1 or 0 here is not adding technical debt per se, but it's making his code more bug prone.
Okay, so just creating an environment where it's more often to happen than not.
Exactly.
You can read about the ARG here. It's just a bunch of disingenuous arguments put up in bad faith trying to make me look like a bad programmer. And in reality, this guy has never used the engine that I'm working in, never used the language that I'm working with, and all of his points are moot as a result.
So this is what I commented on, because he's saying I'm trying to make him look bad. He doesn't recognize that he himself...
So setting something true-false to a number is like hammering a wood screw. Oh. I see. It doesn't make sense. Using the wrong tool for the wrong task kind of thing.
making him look bad.
Yeah.
That statement, in my opinion, is a bit pathetic because despite the fact that I've never used this engine, even I know that he's doing things incorrectly at worst and sloppily at best, while claiming, you know, that other people view him as the Bob Ross of programming. So in our discussions, we already brought up the fact that yes, he should be using true and false instead of 1 and 0. The documentation tells him to.
In his case, mistakes are mistakes.
He mentioned that you can't define data types. The documentation shows you can define structs and objects. He's, at this point, it's just a denial of reality. And that's why I said I kind of want to move past this. I made my 2 videos. There's nothing else that I can add that's unique. And there's nothing else that I can really help here. Because you can bring a cow to the well, but you can't get it to drink.
Then also in that hand, I think it would be important for people, again, yes, you've never worked with the
Did someone say cow? More like lol cow.
this like particular, what was it? Is it a game engine or a language?
Yeah, a game maker.
Okay, so you haven't used this particular thing. You haven't used game maker. So what enables you to like so easily understand that what the decisions he's making are wrong, besides the fact that you're able to just kind of research a few of them right off the bat?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do think that him saying that is also another reflection of inexperience. I've personally taken constructive feedback from people who are better software engineers than me, who have never coded in some of the languages that I have. And that's because good software engineers...
We do not care.
I was like, where did that come from?
Apply principles in an appropriate context. It's like saying, oh, you've never had cancer, so you don't know that it's bad. That's obviously preposterous, right? You can code, and as you code, you gain an understanding of how things should be designed. What are general principles to follow? What's good code versus bad code? What does clean code look like? How should
You're only gonna burn yourself once at a fire, because then when you burn yourself once at a fire, you know fire hot, do not touch. And if you have 20 years of game developer experience, like somebody claims to have, they would know not to hammer in a screw. But yeah.
Organize your code. And a lot of those principles are language agnostic.
Meaning it's just across the board that those are the same kind of standards.
Oh!
Exactly.
Sorry, I saw something. Oh! Like your reply. Look at that. I just got a phone notification.
I think, I mean, for me, and I think a lot of other people, like the understanding of coding languages and the way that Pirate talks about it.
That was for the lol cow joke.
Each of these languages, or like when you're developing a game, you can attribute more of what he's, viewing this criticism as like stylistic or almost personal choices that because you're doing the endeavor on your own, you can curtail or just completely avoid doing it the technically correct way. And so he's making you look like a snob as opposed to, no, this is just the standard that you should be held to in general if you've been coding specifically like for 8 years on a single game.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's bitching about shit that is not changeable inside of GameMaker, which, I would expect a little bit better from someone named Coding Jesus. But I have an ego, right?
So why are you known as Coding
But I got the ego. I'm sorry, but goddamn.
Jesus, is it because you're a savant of coding?
Not at all. So initially my channel was just my name. And when I was first starting out, somebody said, hey dude, you got a really long beard. At the time I did have like a longer, fuller beard, and you got this like luscious long hair. Why don't you give yourself a name that will really stand out in people's minds? It wasn't the impetus for my channel name wasn't I'm this god amongst men and I'm looking down from here on everybody and I'm this authority figure. The name stems from branding effectively. You really look like this guy. Yeah, you see that picture with the Patreon right below?
Yeah.
The second line. And then
you look like Jesus. That's just it.
And then the one right there, so my coding journey right beside, right? So that's the inspiration.
Yeah, and you've got like
That's
the white coloring in the background. It's the hair, it's the beard. That's so simple.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with my own perceived technical acumen or my own skill set. It's just this is a suggestion that I went with because it reflected the image at the time, purely on the physical appearance.
Yeah, and you're also, I don't know, I haven't seen you do any like quote unquote ego checking when it comes to you analyzing his code. It's all just assessing the basic standards that he should be meeting with the jobs that he has talked about having, or like how he references them. You would expect that he would be at those metrics, and that's what you're calling out. There's a difference between being reductive towards, you know, an analysis of his code versus being reductive by bolstering your own skills, which you don't do in your videos.
Yeah.
So the difference in like critique that I notice from Pirate towards Code Jesus and Jesus towards Pirate is that Pirate is trying to put him down, while Code Jesus is holding him to a high standard, and he's just not fulfilling it. That's the difference I am noticing in critique, if you can call it critique, that is. But you know.
Nowhere in my video do I say, hey guys, this guy's game dev sucks. Come to me, watch me do game dev. In all my videos, or all my videos, really the last two, I'm giving an example of where he screwed up and showing somebody one of many potential avenues to improve. It's up to them to consider the benefits, costs, and trade-offs.
Is he a web dev or
Okay, how I can explain this is there is 20 ways to do this. 10 are, you know, a bit complicated and probably worse, more expensive, but they work. And the other 10 are probably better, cheaper, and will hold longer. I will show you one of those ways. That's what Coding Jesus is doing. He's not saying, use this way is the best. No. He's just saying, here's one way out of many. You can use a screw here. That's the easiest way, for example. You don't have to. If it's visible and there can't be a screw, you can just blow it, for example. That's the next cheapest thing. There's other stuff, like a hidden mechanism that you can like, you know, put together and stuff. You know, there's ways.
Avenues to improve. It's up to them to consider the benefits, costs, and trade-offs.
Is he a web dev or something? I have no idea, but he clearly doesn't know this language. You can review languages. Many concepts are transferable. Concepts can be transferable, but specifics are not, and that's the problem. This person called out a bunch of specifics as they would in another language that are not correct in this language.
This is another example of him being corrected by a chatter and then refusing to acknowledge that the chatter even has a morsel of truth in his statement. So this is what we were discussing previously, that concepts, patterns, these are all transferable skills between languages. You'll often find software engineers in their career doing 5 years of C++ and then maybe transitioning to Python or Q.
Like using different woods and finishes. Yeah. For example, there is a powder that I don't remember the name of, but that's how you smoke wood with that powder. You put it, most of the time, people who specialize in this have a whole room that is just for smoking wood, right? And wood is not smoking, it's not being burned or anything. It's just a room that's isolated and airtight. So there is no infiltration or anything. And they have this powder in the middle of the room, and then you just put in the wood so it's visible from all sides that need to be smoked. Smoking just means the color becomes darker and it looks like what meat looks like when it's smoked. Actually, it comes, I don't remember where the name comes from, but yeah, that's how you do it. You then expose the wood to the powder, and that's how you get smoked wood. It's just darker coloring. It doesn't have any protective effects. That's why you usually oil it afterwards with a non-coloring protective film oil. And to keep the color, right? To keep the same color, that you got from smoking. That's how you most of the time get either darker woods or even black wood stuff if you don't want to buy a specific species of wood, or you don't like the, you know, structure of the wood that actually looks like it.
/KDB or whatever other language. That's because these skills are transferable. That in itself is
I don't know
wrong,
how we
but
got there.
nothing that I reviewed was as specific as I would have liked it to be, because in all his streams, or really in none of his streams, did he go into specifics himself. He didn't have any specific content for me to review. He had 4 screenshots in an over 60 hours worth of game dev streams. So I could only be as specific as he was allowing me to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you don't have anything to actually go off of in terms of like actually analyzing him performing the actions. If you only have such little data to go off of, you can only give, you know, your point of view off of the end product.
It's like having 5 blueprints, but only being shown one of them. And then you have to figure out all of the other blueprints through that single one. Which in woodwork, you can do if there's nothing too complicated, but it's still pretty difficult. Planning and doing are 2 separate jobs in this field for a reason.
Which is the code.
Exactly, and then extrapolate based off of that. So extrapolate conclusions like, now I know why it took so long to develop this game, or whatever other conclusion, right? He doesn't give anybody any basis by which they can go into the level of specifics that are up to his standard. A lot of his answers, a lot of his responses have been obfuscation, which is, it's one of the reasons even watching this makes my head hurt, which is why I want to move on with other content personally. But I get it that like this guy is, he's just out of his, I don't want to say out of his mind, but he's out of his depth. Out of his depth, really. And he's like, how am I correcting him when I have 5 minutes worth of game maker experience and he has 8 years?
Like I said, you're going to see a whole lot of people on YouTube trying to pick at me like piranhas
to
get their 15 minutes of fame.
I don't have much to add there other than he effectively brushed all my legitimate criticism about his code under the rug, and then just attacked my character by effectively saying that I'm just doing this for what, clicks or views or clout or whatnot. I've been posting content consistently with my own vision for years, and that vision has been to help people become better developers. I have been showing a consistent track record of building a community that's looking to get better in software engineering.
You haven't done like a coverage of something like drama, really. It's just been reviews of other code. So there isn't even like what a lot of people have an issue with Pirate, a pattern of behavior. This is the first time you've like really dipped your toes into, I don't even want to call it, you know, trend surfing, but it was just, it happened to be relevant at the time. And it also happened to fit in line with your expertise so you could actually comment on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's like me hopping on this hate wagon. Not actual hate, but you know. We do legitimate criticism here. Not just random hate.
And if you look at the video that I made prior to the video that I made on him, I reviewed somebody else's code. When he came onto my radar, I said, well, hey, let's take a look at his code now. The grift, maybe if I was this YouTuber with 30 subscribers and I had no previous history on YouTube, then you can say maybe I'm just trying to jump on some bandwagon. But I have consistent history of speaking to software engineers, doing code reviews, writing my own code, describing my own code, doing live streams about coding. So it's really just an ad hominem attack to try to bury me and shove all my legitimate criticism into my grave. That's what he's trying to do.
Either way, video's dumb. Dude probably should have reached out instead of talking shit.
This part's extremely funny because I actually did reach out. So I was in his YouTube live stream and I said, hey, I'm making a video about you. I wanted him to respond and then we can talk about it. Now, I don't have proof that I did that. You'd have to take my word, but I did message him on his YouTube chat. And within like 3 seconds, when I said, I'm making a video about your code, I got banned and my message disappeared from his stream. So he's not interested with engaging with anybody. He lives in his own fortress. That's why it's so easy for him to say, you should have just reached out to me. Because even if he did see that message, he would have never responded anyways. He would have just brushed it off and ignored it. The fact that he didn't respond to it explicitly is just a cover for him to say,
Sorry.
The fact that he didn't respond to it explicitly is just a cover for him to say this guy never actually reached out.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, trust me, I'm firmly aware. I don't know if you had seen it. I reached out, and my initial
He should have reached out. I reached out. He never reached out.
goal, and so the exact thing that you just mentioned, that the clip that we just watched, was the driving force for sending this, and I actually referred to it because he had said this in a previous drama, I think with the OnlyFangs. I sent him this, and anyone who's watching, they feel free to pause and read. The kindest thing that I could think of, and it also included, I hadn't watched some of Ross's stuff about the Stop Killing Games, and so I said that he had good arguments that I hadn't seen kind of really refuted. And so it was essentially, hey, I would love to moderate a discussion between you two, because I know that you've pretty much said you never want to speak to the guy. And I was like, I know I have something to benefit. I know I've made negative videos about you in the past, as it's here, or yeah, there's nothing I can type up that can convince you that I'm not doing this to make you look bad. But I genuinely...
This is extremely disingenuous. I talked to Charlie. Charlie himself said that it got nowhere, that you did not want to see any reason whatsoever, and every time he brought something up, you brushed it aside and shit. So don't even go there.
To have a discussion, and I was like, it's gonna reduce toxicity on your end, all this stuff. So I was like, I understand that this might just screw me over, the fact that I've talked about you like that. He responded, gave a link to one of his very well-known tweets at this point, and then just said that my content is react and hate chasing. Says he doesn't respect it, but he gets it.
It's not. It's very informative. It is legitimate criticism. I have not seen this guy spread any hate whatsoever. He's actually been super careful to not do any of it. But yeah, let's just call him hate chasing, react chasing. Yeah, sure.
I even followed up and said, hey, like, if it's closed, like, if you're not going to do this because I'm moderating or being a part of it, I'll stay out of it. I just think you guys having the conversation would be useful. And so he left me on red. I asked him if he'd be okay with me sharing this stuff. He said, in full, not in portions. I truly made the honest effort. And the response that I got was, again, just completely shutting down and ignoring, or just not being willing to have that conversation. And it's crazy that he did it to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, what we see here is repeated patterns of behavior, whether it's in the domain of interpersonal relationships or software engineering. There's no real getting to him, which is why I'm... like I said in my previous video, just going to move forward with my other content.
I think very easily people get into the hate mob mentality, where it's either people are just hating and finding any reason to, or people look at it and go, I don't believe it. I think people are just choosing to hate. And I would just rather have videos up that are showing, like, if I can make an argument for him, I'll do my best.
Again,
right
with
now,
the
it doesn't
arrogance.
seem like there's much of that, but I enjoy the effort of trying and like having the two sides of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, this next part, I'm not sure if you want to include because I'm a little more shaky on it, but I do have something to say.
Talked them through the entire thing of why I did that all in an array, because that is not normal practice to do that, and it's specifically so that you guys can reverse engineer the game and solve the ARG. Sometimes doing bad practice has meaning, which is why I did it in that case, so that you guys could do those ARG components, and I've been saying that for years.
But wouldn't a proper structure make it easier to reverse engineer the game? I'm confused. If it's a bad structure from the start, and you reverse engineer it, wouldn't the structure just fall apart? Because you don't know what Pirate was thinking? If I think right now, if I had to take apart a piece of furniture that someone else built, and he used whatever kind of one of the 10 stupid ways to do it, one of those, I don't know which, and it's not visible, how the hell am I gonna reverse engineer that? I'll figure it out eventually, but it will take me a lot longer. So even to me, that doesn't make sense.
The ARG solving community around the game knows this. That's why it's done. So it's not a gotcha. It's just stupid.
ARG stands for alternate reality game, where components of the game itself are like placed outside the game, maybe on a website or some online resources, or sometimes even in real life. So people go out and they look for things that reveal secrets or hints in the game. I'm not sure why he'd sacrifice code quality for an ARG that only a handful of people bother to do. It just seems like a poor excuse for his bad practice. I mean, he admits it's a bad practice, but then he tries to deflect with his ARG explanation as kind of like an immediate out. I actually don't know too much about ARG. I guess that's one of the differences between me and Pirate Software is I admit when I'm not an expert at something.
Binding of Isaac has had good ARG, based on what I know. It took the community years to find all the shit, to get all the characters, you know, all the secrets. So yeah. For example, the greed character took a really long time because it was multiple geographic locations and shit. Yeah.
But isn't the whole appeal of hacking an ARG and needing to go and look for something to discover these sorts of hints or clues on your own? Like, why would you in a game dev live stream show everybody where the timeline of events are located and then allow them to more easily find ways to change the game or hints within the game? To me, that just seems strange. Now, I also can't confirm this, but apparently he's banned people who tried to do ARG in his game. Anyways, it's a bit strange to me. Like I said, I'm not the expert at ARG.
Right.
And I'll go ahead and admit that. But it seems quite suspect to me. I'll just put it that way. It seems like you could still do ARG and do it in a lot cleaner way. Like, you don't need to have magic numbers as your indices for your array in order to use that array for ARG. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I can give you a bit of understanding with that. Have you ever played, it's called Inscription?
Is that the card game?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love that game, yeah.
So that is a great example of ARG because it's a bit more than just it being like a reality kind of thing. A lot of, I believe maybe Undertale does it a bit too, where you will have it set up so that if someone does scrape the code or like goes through and tries to, as he said, it kind of, reverse engineer or reverse hack or something like that, you make it so that there are things that you are trying to get them to find within the code. So the interesting thing is, like you said, it feels more like a deflection because number one, there's multiple ways to achieve what he's doing. And he also talks about his experience with the DEF CON badges and working on teams where they do actual hacking and that he has these black badges. So you would assume that even using the coding practices that you are using, he could leave a comment if it was for, an Easter egg. He wouldn't need to have a comment on every single line of code. He could organize his stuff accordingly, but he's hiding behind, it feels like, the plausible deniability of, I am choosing to write this entire thing terribly because I want to dumb it down to make it easier for people to, or maybe not even dumb it down, but do it this way so that it can be easier to implement the ARG aspects of it. I feel like that's an easy out that people are just going to nod their head to because they don't know what the alternative is because they haven't developed a game with ARG.
Yeah.
So my explanation was wrong in that case. Purposefully putting up a challenge, but giving a really easy one. Like, for example, obvious screws. And just screws. Right. So,
I think that makes sense to me. Like, why would you reorient your whole game around poor coding practices just to make it more ARG friendly?
Especially when most people are never going to touch it. Like Inscription, I watched a YouTube video of someone doing the analysis of it, but most people are not going to go through the effort of reading up the code, finding those points and doing it. They're interested in the story, but not necessarily in the adventure of finding it because it's a lot.
Yeah, I can guarantee you probably like 8 or 9 out of 10 Inscription players probably don't even know what ARG is. So
right, with
I didn't know until now either. I knew what it was, but not by name.
But even then, if he is selling a game, he should understand that completely. It's like focusing the way that you balance a game for the hardcore players as opposed to the general player base.
You think he'd have more robust ways to implement ARG given his background, but instead you get the slop that permeates the entire code base.
Yeah, that's probably even a better point, is that he chooses to make it sloppy for that element when he could do it based off of his reputation and history that he's developed. he could do it a much more interesting and and clean way. Thank you for like taking the time to even answer these questions with this video. And I just want to clarify that the way that I like dumb things down to make it easier for me to understand for other people, would you say that that's, you know, accurate enough?
Yeah, I think everything we've discussed today, like you've been able to summarize it well.
Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you, man. Talk to you later.
Like using a screwdriver to unscrew a screw versus applying a paper clip or something else to unscrew a screw. No. Instead of not supplying anything to unscrew a screw and making the challenge to make something or find something to unscrew the screw, he gives you the screwdriver that is just little, you know, he just gives you the screwdriver to unscrew the screw and calls it a challenge. Kind of. That kind of outside the box thinking is more interesting. Yeah.
Later. See ya. Now that wrapped up our conversation.
Like he made it easier, kind of. Like instead of dropping a hint in a high, dropping a needle in a high stack, it's like dropping a needle in like a small bucket of sand. You know, it's much easier to find that way.
That we had about the clips that had been surfacing today in regard to what Pirate had to say about CJ's videos. Now, I highly recommend that you check out his videos as they go way more in depth than even what we covered in those clips. And he really does address each point by point. I think it was most useful for me to try to help summarize so that a lot of people that aren't coders can understand the points that he was making and why Pirate's, you know, refutes or counterpoints don't add up. And now this is just me speaking. I didn't bring this up to Coding Jesus. Pirate was legitimately just lying about Coding Jesus and his experience and who he.
I'll talk about code and woodworking makes me think about my grandpa's clothing closet made with 7,000 nails and 4,000 screws. Usually when I hear that people used both nails and screws, I'm like, that could be potentially, it was a hell, oh, okay, yeah. Could potentially be bad craftsmanship.
Is, like his reputation calling him a grifter, you can't back that up with his YouTube channel. Nearly 600 videos, and this is truly the first time that he has covered drama. If he wants to call someone a grifter, you could make the argument.
He wasn't even, he wasn't covering drama, he was covering a code. He was in his content still.
Infinitely better talking about me.
I'm covering drama.
If he wants to call someone a grifter, you could make the argument infinitely better talking about me or just about any other, you know, more Pegasus if he's touched this or sensitive society. Like these are just coming off the dome, but like any of us, it would make so much more sense. And if anything, it's just more telling of this being an ego check more than anything that he jumps to an ad hominem attack because he can't actually contest with the arguments that CJ's making because they're sound and because CJ is willing to admit when he's wrong or out of his depth and willing to even have the conversation. And as you heard from him, even if Pirate complains about the fact that people don't reach out, when people do, he rejects it. Whether it be Coding Jesus, me, or just about, I'm sure, anybody else that has made the attempt outside of Charlie and Joshua Strifehaze. And even then, they didn't get much of a response themselves. That's it for the video today. I hope you guys learned something new. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Lastly, if you're still here by the end of the video, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. You know, you've seemingly enjoyed the video. Leave it a like if you want this to get out to more people. But most importantly, just thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And again, please be sure to check out Coding Jesus. He has some really, really useful insight about all of this.
This morning.
All I had for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later. Peace. Bye.
Ah, shit. Ah, shit.
This is disingenuous.
Nah, he was good. He just didn't want a nuke destroy his work. Not watched stream before. Didn't plan on that connection being there. Yeah. No. Coding Jesus was very informative about why the code was bad. Not in a derogatory way. He just absolutely took apart what was wrong, what was not wrong, in a very professional setting, not insulting at all, you know. So, Quinn Theo, leave a like. Yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah. Excuse me. Cute. God damn. Yeah, no, stop gooning, Mumi, stop. Mumi tired. Yeah, I mean, this week is gonna, you know. Thank you for blanket. The blanket is nice. It is warm. It is comfortable. Ooh. People, some people. Anyone got any idea about like fuck, AI image creators, like good ones? Anyone got an idea about those? Like which ones are good and which aren't? No, I just saw something. No, it will not show that shit. Nope. No idea. Okay. I think I'll just go with ChatGPT. In that case, how do you get ChatGPT? Can you just log in? Continue. Wait. In that case, I wanna use the other one. Yeah, that makes more sense. There we go. You piece of shit. Oh yeah, hold on. I forgot. Bam. Bam. And bam. There we go. Oh. Wait, is ChatGPT just free? Oh, wow. Ask anything. Picture this. Oh. Okay. the intro for ChatGPT is pretty good. Now, how do I use this? I just can't go over there. The picture is fine if the picture shows. That's fine. That's fine. For real? Yeah, I just got ChatGPT, but it didn't cost anything, so that's cool. Oh, ChatGPT Plus. There is a plus. So yeah. Okay. New chat. So, create an image. Scribe an image. What do we want? A mummy reacting surprised at a pirate. What can it give me? It's loading. Oh? Oh, it's loading? Movie playing games in a straight jacket. Oh, we already have that. Depending on how well those images are, I'm gonna probably use those for thumbnails in the future. Too. That's why I actually wanted to get into it. Because my thumbnails have been straight dog shit, except for like the except for the Schuhen head one, which was like decent at best, and the straitjacket one I stole from you, Azurhood. More. Oh. Oh. Wait, this is so good. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go here. Image. Okay. Browse. Picture. Wait, what? What? Oh no, what is freezing? Okay, everything's fine. What is happening? Hello? Is everyone still here? Everyone is still here? Yes, okay. That kind of fucked me almost. Where is it? Oh shit. We're in an infinite loop. I'm sorry, but it's muted, so it's fine. No. Not here anymore, huh? Screenshots. There should be a screenshot of just a black square. Yeah, that. And if I go here, it should like perfectly just... Yeah, alright. Good. So this is the image that I got from this small description. And if I write like make it more realistic. It's gonna load again. But what will it give me? Come on. I wanna know. That's good. It's not a bad thumbnail, but at the same time, it's not too good. That is not bad, though. And I can just download it just like that? Wow. Wow. This is gonna make my life easier. Try grok. I mean, I do my previous request or do one where you're marrying a fox woman. No, let's not go there. Too far. Try grok. Grok? How do I access grok? Grok. Continue. Can you make images? I can generate images if you confirm that's what you want. Just let me know what kind of image you'd like and I'll create it for you. What's the idea? Ooh, alright. Copy. Make a image of by the way, here you go. Make an image of MumiPlaynGames in a straight jacket. That's not exactly what hold on. Copy. Huh. What the hell? Since when am I an Asian man? Oh. Hold on. What? Grok? Are you, I'm sorry, but what? Who is Mumi playing games? There's no fucking way. I don't have specific information about MumiPlaynGames as an individual. It's possible that MumiPlaynGames is a username or handle potentially related to gaming, given the context of similar names like MumuPlayer, an Android emulator by NetEase Games, known for running mobile games on PC and Mac. However, without more details or an identifiable public profile, I can't confirm who they are. If this is an ex-user or a public figure, you might want to check their profile or post for more context. Okay. Now you are a black woman. Yup. Mummy face reveal is Asian woman. Yup. Yup. That's me. That's me. Yup. Yep. That's all me. All of them are me. All right. A cartoon mummy is surprised, or no, not cartoon. Anime. Try adding VTuber or describe yourself. Nope, I'm not going into that any longer. A anime mummy is surprised at a hacking pirate. Make a image of. Huh. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. But it's not too good either. So, what the hell? Make the mummy face the pirate accurate. I've never played around with like AI like this before. This and this is the exact same picture. Didn't do shit. You just changed the mouth here. And the eyelashes. Brother. Brother, what is this? I guess I have the cheap grog. No. But this is cool. I was generating images like this. Hold on. Have you loaded any? No? Let's wait for this one. Let's have music while it loads. Ugh. Yeah. Doesn't seem like there will be anything more right now. Seems like it's overworked. Let's say that. Anyway. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Back to our roots. Anyway, with this, we have reached the end of the stream today. I'll try to edit the videos to put them up tomorrow again. I wanna start actually making the videos from now on. I want to try to like have daily uploads. Try. Good night. Thank you very much. You know, that's one of my goals now. Trying to have a actual upload schedule, kind of. I still don't know when to exactly upload them, but yeah. Something like that, right? No! Yes! But yeah. I wish everyone a good morning, good day, good evening, good night. Sweet dreams and goodbye, thank you. So you guys sleep well as well. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.